To live is to suffer, to survive is to find some meaning in the suffering. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. Whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process he does not become a monster. And if you gaze long enough into an abyss, the abyss will gaze back into you. Hope in reality is the worst of all evils because it prolongs the torments of man. One must still have chaos in oneself to be able to give birth to a dancing star. All things are subject to interpretation. Whichever interpretation prevails at a given time is a function of power and not truth. We should consider every day lost on which we have not danced at least once. And we should call every truth false which was not accompanied by at least one laugh. He who would learn to fly one day must first learn to stand and walk and run and climb and dance. One cannot fly into flying. God is dead. God remains dead. And we have killed him. Yet his shadow still looms. How shall we comfort ourselves, the murderers of all murderers? What was holiest and mightiest of all that the world has yet owned has bled to death under our knives. Who will wipe this blood off us? What water is there for us to clean ourselves? It is impossible to suffer without making someone pay for it. Every complaint already contains revenge. There is always some madness in love. But there is also always some reason in madness. The true man wants two things, danger and play. For that reason he wants woman as the most dangerous plaything. One should die proudly when it is no longer possible to live proudly. We love life, not because we are used to living, but because we are used to loving. You have your way. I have my way. As for the right way, the correct way, and the only way, it does not exist. On the mountains of truth you can never climb in vain. Either you will reach a point higher up today, or you will be training your powers so that you will be able to climb higher tomorrow. The surest way to corrupt a youth is to instruct him to hold in higher esteem those who think alike than those who think differently. Insanity in individuals is something rare, but in groups, parties, nations, and epochs, it is the rule. A casual stroll through the lunatic asylum shows that faith does not prove anything. Perhaps I know best why it is man alone who laughs. He alone suffers so deeply that he had to invent laughter. There cannot be a God because if there were one, I could not believe that I was not he. Blessed are the forgetful, for they get the better even of their blunders. Not necessity, not desires, no, the love of power is the demon of men. Let them have everything: health, food, a place to live, entertainment. They are and remain unhappy and low-spirited, for the demon waits and will be satisfied. When marrying, ask yourself this question: do you believe that you will be able to converse well with this person into your old age? Everything else in marriage is transitory. In individuals, insanity is rare, but in groups, parties, nations, and epochs, it is the rule. Germany is a great nation only because its people have so much Polish blood in their veins. Those who cannot understand how to put their thoughts on ice should not enter into the heat of debate. Madness is rare in individuals, but in groups, parties, nations, and ages it is the rule. Many are stubborn in pursuit of the path they have chosen, few in pursuit of the goal. The man of knowledge must be able not only to love his enemies, but also to hate his friends. Stupid as a man, say the women, cowardly as a woman, say the men. Stupidity in a woman is unwomanly. Women are considered deep. Why? Because one can never discover any bottom to them. Women are not even shallow. One has to pay dearly for immortality. One has to die several times while one is still alive. The irrationality of a thing is no argument against its existence, rather a condition of it. War has always been the grand sagacity of every spirit which has grown too inward and too profound. Its curative power lies even in the wounds one receives. There are horrible people who, instead of solving a problem, tangle it up and make it harder to solve for anyone who wants to deal with it. Whoever does not know how to hit the nail on the head should be asked not to hit it at all. The great epochs of our life are the occasions when we gain the courage to rebaptize our evil qualities as our best qualities. One ought to hold on to one's heart, for if one lets it go, one soon loses control of the head too. Go up close to your friend, but do not go over to him. We should also respect the enemy in our friend. Nothing is beautiful, only man. On this piece of naivete rests all aesthetics. It is the first truth of aesthetics. Let us immediately add its second. Nothing is ugly but degenerate man. The domain of aesthetic judgment is therewith defined. Art is not merely an imitation of the reality of nature, but in truth a metaphysical supplement to the reality of nature, placed alongside thereof for its conquest. Our treasure lies in the beehive of our knowledge. We are perpetually on the way thither, being by nature winged insects and honey-gatherers of the mind. Arrogance on the part of the meritorious is even more offensive to us than the arrogance of those without merit, for merit itself is offensive. Words are but symbols for the relations of things to one another and to us. Nowhere do they touch upon absolute truth. It is not when truth is dirty, but when it is shallow, that the lover of knowledge is reluctant to step. We often refuse to accept an idea merely because the tone of voice in which it has been expressed is unsympathetic to us.